Hi, my name is Adrian William, and before I start this video, let me inform you that I got my second acceptance from the Dental School of New York University, NYU. I'm grateful to all my friends, family, especially I'm grateful to the person who took my interview, Dr. Rose. If you're watching this video, thank you for that session. It was quite a learning curve and I really enjoyed it, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you. Now coming to the video, this video is not about me. It's about the people who got waitlisted and the people who got rejection letters, and how I can share my experiences and how I could guide them in some of the things that they could do to manage this situation. Starting off with the people who got waitlisted. I know a couple of friends, candidates who got waitlisted, and I've been talking to them, and I know this is a very frustrating kind of a period because you're hanging in between the bridge waiting for your silver lining. And I would say one thing you need to consider, the good part about this situation is that you're still in the game. And what do I mean? Like, sometimes winning the match is not important, but winning the tournament is important. And how do you win the tournament? By staying within the game. So if you've been waitlisted, that means your profile is still competitive and is still good enough to be considered. All you need to do is to stay solid, stay confident, and keep improving yourself. And eventually you're going to be on the other side of the bridge. You will. And that's how you win. Like, stay in the tournament. Keep playing. Like, do not be disheartened. And it happens. I know it's difficult. And on a practical note, what you could do is send an email to the school, but it should be a very small, precise, and carefully written email in which you will just mention that you're grateful for this opportunity. And before you do that, you want to sit down and take a day or two and think about it. Why are you grateful for this? Do not write something which you do not believe in. You want to sit and think and then tell them that you're grateful even for this opportunity that you've been waitlisted. And show them, express this, that you're a positive person and you're wise enough to have patience in your personality. Because what's going to happen, that the choice of words that you're going to use is going to leave an impact on them. And maybe in the future, they will remember you for the person who was wise enough and calm enough to deal this situation carefully. And this might increase your chances of getting in that same school, maybe in the next cycle. And that's how you win a tournament. And one other thing is, I wanna suggest this to a lot of candidates. When they get rejection letter or when they get like waitlisted, what they try doing is they will try to wake up every day and think of emailing the school and asking them, are you going to select me? Are you going to pick me? Who's not going into the school? Has anybody I would say walked out or drew their application? So these kind of situations. And what I would suggest to these people is, do not think this way. Like do not leave your brain on autopilot, because that's a very negative way of thinking, and being desperate and overly thinking about something in a manner in this manner wouldn't be helpful. What you want to do is not be desperate. Fix the things that you can fix. And the only thing you can fix is yourself. Look at your resume, look at your profile, see what is possible for you to improve and figure it out. Be very conscious about your own self and fix the things. And once you start doing this, eventually, I'm telling you, you're going to win the tournament. It might take a bit longer, but that's the better route to go for. Secondly, now coming down to the people who got rejection letters. So if you haven't received an acceptance letter, if you haven't received an email of being waitlisted, and all you received is a rejection letter, well, my friends, you just hit your lottery. And what do I mean you hit your lottery? The point is, you hit your rock bottom, and the only way out for you is to climb up. You need to do the things that will improve you professionally and personally, because you can't just fix one and expect success. And that's what I try to, that's one of the reason I'm making these videos. You have to fix your personality and you have to fix your professional life. You fix both of them and eventually you will get what you want. And that's how winning is done. And how do you do that? On a practical note, this is proven by psychology. You are an average of the 5 people you hang around with. So what you want to do is start sitting and start talking and start thinking like somebody who's a winner. Like, try to understand how you could fix yourself, like have that positive thinking. And when you start looking things at that manner, you will embrace your failures. You will embrace your, I would say, rejection. Embrace your rejection. Realize there's something you could fix in your application. And I'm going to go on practical notes today, what could be fixed. So maybe if you want to grab your pencil or pen, that would be helpful as well. Well, once you figured out that something is there that needs to be fixed in your profile. Now, it could be your visa. You might have an unfavorable visa. Well, that's something you cannot fix easily. So if it's not something in your control, put it in one side. There are always things that could be fixed. For example, I'm going to give you some example that if you got a rejection letter and you're conscientiously thinking how I could improve my profile, what you want to do is I would say start saving money and start saving resources and money so you could invest on yourself, because you could go into a master's program. You might go into a preceptorship. You might have to travel and visit school. You might have to contact them, call them, meet them somehow. But all of these things will require your time and money. And what you want to start doing is start saving those resources. In addition to that, if you figured out these masters, preceptorship, or anything affiliated to school, if you could do that, that's one way of improving your profile. The next thing you could start doing is start reading books. And okay, books are not easy to read. If you can't do that, watch meaningful content on YouTube, because that will really help you improve your personality, improve the way you think, improve the way you speak, improve the way you write. And that's very important in this process. And it's not in this process, overall in United States, in order to grow and in order to succeed, you should be capable enough to express your ideas and express yourself. So watch meaningful content, and if you could, read books. After that, if possible, I would say try to visit nearby institution. If there's a dental school or a dental institution near to you, try going for that. If there's not a dental school nearby you, if there's a community college, if there's any other university, you want to try going there, meet people, look for, and I know it's COVID and it's difficult, but you can always email them, look for research opportunities, look for volunteer work. Even if you can't do that, make contacts. That's what you want to do. Along with that, if you can't find that, what you want to do is look for non-profit organizations, some medical camps, some dental camps like Mission of Mercy, something like that which is going on in your area or in your town. You want to get affiliated with that. Be a translator, work something which is even non-dental. Try doing that. I usually suggest if you're go out of your faith, go out of your bubble, and go and work with an organization which is totally different from your background. I know it's not an easy thing, but if you start doing that, you will recreate a new self. So your old bubble, your old thought process will start getting removed, and you will regenerate and recreate a new self, and you will think in a different way, and that will eventually help you a lot. Trust me, I've been doing that. It's not easy, but it helps a lot. So after that, what you could do is look at your profile. And usually what happen with people is their TOEFL score is not good enough. And when I was going through the process, I was thinking, okay, what's more difficult? Spending money in a preceptorship, going for another master's, or just studying for a TOEFL and increasing your score? No, there are a lot of ways to improve your profile. But if you could fix your TOEFL score, I would suggest sit down, study at home, especially in time of COVID, and improve your TOEFL score, because it's like a cherry on top of your cake. What happened is that national boards are pass, right? Either you pass or you fail. There's no number on it. But with the TOEFL, they see your numbers. So that's kind of like pass, and then 110, 115, whatever your number is. That will really make you stand out. Along with that, I think what you want to look into, if you haven't done this before, look for opportunities of being a hygienist, dental hygienist. You could be an FDA, auxiliary work. You can be a dental assistant. Even if you can't do that and your visa can't allow you, go for dental volunteer, be a shadow, like do shadowing. Do anything that would affiliate to a dental setup. And when you're there, make contacts. Look at the electronic system. Look at the office management. Understand the laws. Understand the materials. Know their names. Learn the pronunciation. See what people are doing. Learn malpractice. Ask for ethics. If you're working at a good clinic who understand ethics, because not all of them focus on ethics, but if you're in a place that talks about ethic and that doctor is good enough, ask him questions. Like listen to him, like ask him which school did he go to and what did he learn from. But one thing I've learned recently is that a lot of people have problem because they don't even know how to make a sensible request. I meet a lot of people who don't even know how to properly ask for something. And this is a very basic foundational thing that you need to have in your personality. Like start to build yourself and start to be humble, start to be genuine, and request people in a way that's sensible. Because I know individuals, I know doctors, I know organizations who are willing to help people, but the only problem is people are not willing to ask in a sensible way. So that's something you want to consider, that do you know how to speak and request in a good manner? And if you start doing that, trust me, a lot of people, the whole world will start helping you. And that's what you want to be like. And that's what personal growth means to me. Like being professional is good, but being personally wise enough is something far more important. So you thought about these, and one thing that I met a dentist who did schooling from Middle East, and she was I would say blessed enough, or she was smart enough to get a limited license in Massachusetts, and that's something which is very rare. But if you're smart enough and you're in the right place at the right time and you know how to make contacts, and then you're working hard enough and you're striving for your best, there is a chance that you might get this opportunity where you're hired as a limited license dentist in Massachusetts. So that's also an opportunity, and if you're living somewhere near, you should start looking on it. And you might not get it right away, but if you start looking in it in the next 6, 7, 8 months, or maybe a year, in between you might find some opening. And even if you don't find that opening, your hard work will pay off. So that's something you want to consider. And along with that, you could always invest in CE courses, take CE courses, go for workshops if you could do. Even not that, like take online courses. And amongst all these things, one thing I would say, even if you're short on money and you're short on time, whatever you're doing, learn to invest in your personality, how you speak, how you write, how you present yourself, how you think about dentistry, how you think about the world, how you think about the culture of United States. All of these things will impact your personality, and that's what will make you 360-degree well-rounded individual. And I'm trying to work on this, and maybe hopefully soon I will come up with a video where you could write your life narrative. One of the things that helped me the most, not in just these dental schools or my masters or in my professional life overall, is writing down a life narrative, what you want and what you don't want in your life. And when you have a roadmap, you can achieve a lot in your life. So I hope you find this video helpful, and hopefully in future I will try to come up with a more meaningful video. So till then, thank you, and do subscribe to this channel. Thank you.